If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?
Good morning. It's a very foggy morning this morning. There should be a sunrise behind me, but it's being obscured right now. How you like that? Lift the weights, eat the steaks. I found that shirt online. I said, that's too cool. I gotta get it. Today, I want to talk about the question that has surprised me that I see on World Carnivore Tribe and Lion Diet Facebook posts and things like that. To salt or not to salt? I say I'm surprised because finding out about salt was one of the key things for me that made this diet click. When I did Atkins diet back in the mid 2000s, I did everything Dr. Robert Atkins said to do, because let me tell you how that started real quick. I was working at an electronics store, and our district manager was a fairly heavy man that came around the building about once a month or so. And we started to notice that every time we would see him, he was drastically smaller than he was before. And that's when I found out about the Atkins diet. And I picked up the book, The Atkins Revolution, the one that was redone after his earlier one in the 1960s, which didn't get a lot of attention. And that has a lot to do with powers that be that don't want people kicking their carb craving habits. But anyway, so I saw this guy losing all this weight, and I said, well, I got to get in on this, because I was pushing 300 pounds at the time myself. And I found that, as I was doing the diet, I got just as surprised by all the keto flu that we call it now. I didn't expect that. And I did know that it was, going to be a little bit, but it was like the entire 6 months like that. And I was pounding multivitamins and other vitamins because I knew that, at least I thought, well, I'm not getting enough vitamins from the meat. I figured that, I didn't even know. I didn't understand about how nutrient dense meat was at the time. And I also found that if I didn't supplement vitamins within a couple of days, I would become extremely lethargic. And after 3 or 4 days, I'd be unable to move, unable to get up and do anything or get out of bed. It was awful. And I thought, well, I'm just not getting enough vitamins from having a bowl of spinach with ranch dressing and a steak, or a bunch of steaks every day, like I was having. And then when I saw Mikhaila Peterson talking about coming up with an electrolyte drink, and one of the things she said was, well, I hate to reveal my secret, but basically we just add salt to the water, add sodium. And I thought, sodium? Salt? That's where electrolytes come from? I mean, I'm not a nutrition person. I was never a nutrition person when it came to like studying anything or knowing exactly how it worked. I was taking the advice of the experts, just like a lot of people were. And this was a surprise to me to find out that sodium was a source of electrolytes, and that's basically what you're adding to an electrolyte drink that you're buying, is you're paying extra to have salt added to it, basically. Well, as I've noticed, my diet has gone off like gangbusters since finding out that missing piece of the equation in my mind. But it surprises the heck out of me that people tell me all the time that they don't use salt and they do better without salt. So this is a great place to have this discussion, I think. We've seen it in some forums, but let's pound the comments with your experiences with and without salt. I'd like to know what your experience has been in doing this diet, adding salt, and how much salt do you add? I mean, I salt everything. I salt my steaks, I salt my burgers, I salt my drinks, I even salt the coffee that I'm still having, that I started back up on. I always like to reiterate that. I did 7 months of this diet without coffee, and I've added that back, and it's been one of the few things that hasn't had any major interactions with my body. But I still add a little bit of salt to it. I usually add some salt to the grinds, and then I put a couple of turns of salt in the drink itself. I love salt. It's delicious, and it's like it calls to me. And that wasn't always the case. I had convinced myself that salt was bad for me. So, you know, you've heard my experience with salt. What's your experience been with salt? And what's the difference with sodium and salt? I thought sodium came from salt, but I'm no chemist or expert on how these molecules work. If you've got some insight on that, or you got some videos you want to share, I'll be sure to check the comments for anything that might be flagged because it has a link. But go ahead and include links to videos that you found that are helpful to understanding of salt and nutrition and diet. Meanwhile, have you gotten up and had your walk today? It's so nice to get up before the sun rises, get that exercise in, and really get your day going. So screw it, get up and do it. And don't forget to leave those comments. I'll see you next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?